June is, let's do notes for April 2022. Okay, part A general knowledge we shall see the circles of the globe. So like we saw latitude. So 0 degree is the equator. 23.5 degrees north is the Tropic of Cancer. So the latitude that is 23.5 degrees north of the equator is called the Tropic of Cancer, and the latitude that is 23.5 degrees or 23.5 degrees south of the equator is called the Tropic of Capricorn. Again, 66.33 degrees north or 66 1/3 degrees north is the Arctic Circle, and the latitude 66 1/3 degrees south is the Antarctic Circle. Okay, so the poles, as you keep going up the equator or going down the equator, the latitudes increase or decrease. That is north or the south. So it's from 0 you reach right to the north. There you 90 degrees north, then that's called the North Pole. It's not a latitude, it's a pole. Why? Because it's a point. And similarly, on the south is the South Pole. Okay, longitudes. So 0 degrees. Longitude used to be known as Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. Now they call it UTC. That's Universal Time Constant. And 180 degrees. There's the international date line. We saw that, and then we also discussed why it is not straight, why does it change shapes in certain places, especially in the southern hemisphere. Okay, so 2D is two-dimensional. So if your position is 2D, you just need a latitude and a longitude. However, if your position is three-dimensional, 3D, you need a latitude, a longitude, and altitude. That is your height. How high are you from the surface of the earth? That's known as the altitude. Okay, miles and kilometers. So a mile is 1.6 kilometers, that is distance, and a mile an hour, that is 1 mile per hour, is 1.6 kilometers an hour. So that's your speed. So the zoo is 2 miles from my house. If you say that, so that means the zoo is 3.2 kilometers from your house. And my father was driving at 60 miles an hour. Or my father was going at 60 miles an hour. So my father was driving at 96 kilometers an hour. How do we get that? We just multiply 60 by, or 60 times 1.6, we get 96. That's how you do miles and kilometers. So remember again, a mile is 1.6 kilometers. Right. Okay, let's revise time. 10 past 7 means 10 minutes after 7, but you don't say it's 10 minutes after 7. You either say 10 past 7 or simply 7:10. What's the time? It's 7:10. Or what's the time? It's 2:15 or it's 2:15, not 15 minutes after 2 p.m. or 2 o'clock or 2 a.m. That's not how you speak or read out the time. Again, 2:30 is 2:30. 10 to 9 is 8:50. 9:15 is 9:15, and 10:30 is 10:30. Okay, let's do part C, vocabulary. So to back is to support, not your back. Not a noun, but a back as in verb. You back someone, you support them. So a bay is a body of water away from the sea and protected by land. Doesn't mean it's surrounded by land, it's just shielded or protected by land. Gulf is a large area of sea that is partly surrounded by land. Partly, not fully, a bit, just a bit surrounded by land. Traditional, something that is traditional means something that has been done for a very long time by a certain group of people, by a certain country, by a certain culture. Modern, something that is new or current or recent, is modern. Alcatraz is an island in the San Francisco Bay, formerly used as a prison. So the Golden Gate Bridge, a famous bridge that crosses over the San Francisco Bay. San Francisco Bay, a body of water bordering San Francisco, California. CA means California. President, the head of a national or federal government, or some like a body. What's a body? Like a board. The company has a board. The board can have a president or a chairman, depends on the legality. Okay, a governor is usually the head of a state. Province is an area in a country with its local government, an area in a country with its own local government, its own borders. Former means before, so it's used to show something's or someone's role before or previous role. Partly, a little bit, a bit, not completely. That is partly. At works means at the office or working. A spy is a person who secretly works for other governments and steals information for them. Or it means when you secretly see what someone else is doing, somebody else is doing, that means you're spying, or that makes you a spy. Bully, a person who forces others to do things that they don't like or they do not wish to do. Like a negative form of a sentence means a sentence written with no, something which has no in it. Right, so that's that for vocabulary. Let's see some pronunciation. Number 1, world. It's not words, it's worlds. The L sound is important. Worlds. You can speak the R, but it's very soft. You can speak it, you can omit it. If you can't speak the R, doesn't matter. Just leave it out. That's why I put it in. That's why I've not capitalized it. That's why it's smaller, just to show that it's not very important. World. Right, not words. In the words. In the words, not in the words. Words. Number 2, frequent. 3, frequently. 4 is pizza. Pizza. It's not pizza. Or something else. Pizza. Please get it right. And 5, Antarctica. 6, Antarctic. 7, Arctic. 8, equator. 9, latitude. Make sure you say the tude. And 10, longitude. Tude. And 11, Greenwich, not Greenwich, Greenwich. 12, apostrophe. 13, county, not county, county. 14, national, not national, national. 15, federal, not federal, federal. 16, Spain. 17, Spanish, not Spanish, Spanish. 18, bully. 19, bullet. So bully and bullet. 20, flew, not flew. The bird flew out. No, not flew out, the bird flew out. 21, drew. He drew a picture, not he drew you a picture. And 22 is oil, not oil. There's no year in oil. Oil. Right, not oil. Okay, and the final part, let's see some sentence construction. So, constructing sentences with new words. So, formally. So, Alcatraz was used as a prison before. So, Alcatraz was formerly used as a prison. Or it is a former prison. Right, so former. He was the president of the group before, so he is a former president of the group or of a country or whatever he is, right? So he is a former president, not the current president, not the incumbent, but the former. Right. Part 2, choose the best option to complete the sentences. Okay, number 1 says he blank and blank off the light. So you have 2 choices. Either you say got up, switched, or you say was getting up, had switched. So option B, if you select option B, he was getting up and had switched off the light. Well, it's not entirely incorrect, but it's complicated. You can use it only in very certain situations. Usually you will just say he got up and switched off the light. It's easy, it makes perfect sense. So always choose the simplest option. Number 2, I dip my feet in water. So past tense. So past tense of dip is dipped. It's not dipped. It's not dip. So dipped. 2 P's. Dipped. Stress over there. Dipped. So that's that. Okay, now the most interesting and most important part. Past simple and should be past continuous tense and how to use them in your conversations or in your sentences. Let's see number 1. So what did she do at 5 yesterday? is usually incorrect. It can be correct. Usually it's incorrect. What was she doing at 5 yesterday is usually correct. What was she doing at 5? What is at 5 then? Okay, let's see how it goes. Suppose two people talking, or you are talking to someone and you say, what did you do at 5 yesterday? Or somebody asks you and you tell them, oh, I switched off a light at 5 yesterday. That's amazing, isn't it? How do you remember what you did at 5? How can you precisely remember that? So this is not a normal conversation. Why? Because we don't write down or remember time like that. That means we don't keep a book or a diary and write down what we do each and every minute of the day. It's just not possible to remember time like that. Therefore, what did you do last evening? Now, not at 5, but last evening, the entire evening. That's easy to remember because that's total time. Not particular moment, but total time. So, I went out for dinner last evening. Good, that's nice. Where did you go? I went to a new restaurant that just opened last week. What time did you get back? Around 10, a few minutes before the match. So, how do you remember that? Because it was just a few minutes before the match. So, around 10 o'clock. I got back around 10 o'clock. So, what did you do last evening? I went out for dinner. Now, this is a much more normal conversation. This is a quite normal, perfect conversation. Okay, let's see more. What did you do when I called you? Is again usually incorrect unless you just did one action. What were you doing when I called you? That's much better. It's usually correct. Why? Let's see. Suppose somebody calls you and says, "What were you doing yesterday?" You ask them when. Yesterday when? Oh, when I called you. Oh, I was mowing the lawn. Oh, that's why you didn't pick up the phone. That's correct. So yep. Well, yes, I didn't hear it or I couldn't hear it. Right, so when I called you, or when I called him, he was mowing the lawn. Or when he or she called you, you were mowing the lawn at that time. Then you were doing something. Similarly, number 3, I went out yesterday is usually correct. However, I was going out yesterday is usually incorrect. Suppose somebody asks you, what were you doing yesterday? I was going out yesterday. What, the entire day? How many times can you go out? What was this? Doesn't make much sense. So it's not a very sensible question. It's not a very good question. It's not a good conversation. What did you do yesterday? Oh, I went to the zoo. That's much better. Why? Because that's a main activity. That's the main activity of yesterday. Of course, you did many more things. But those are just routine things, it's routine stuff, and it's not very interesting. You don't tell each and every thing that you did. You just talk about the main stuff, the interesting bits. Right, so now that you have done this, so how do you use this knowledge in a normal conversation? How do you know? Okay, let's see. Suppose somebody asks you, let's look at the first scenario. What were you doing at 5 yesterday? Okay, I was reading a comic. Right. That's what I was doing at about 5 o'clock. Good answer. Right, number 2, I reached home at 5. Okay. Nothing. Instead of saying I reached home at 5, that's not the question. The question is, what were you doing at 5? Nothing. I had just reached home. I wasn't doing anything because I had just gotten home. So, I was reaching home. Okay. So I was going home. I was on my way home. I was in the bus. So these two 5 and 6 are good answers. What were you doing at 5? Nothing. I was on my way home. I was in the bus, or I was sitting on the bus, or I was standing, whatever. Okay. I'll go to supermarket. That's bad grammar. It's really bad. I went to supermarket at 5. Again, bad. I was going to the supermarket at 5 yesterday. Okay, can we improve it? Yep. I was on my way to the supermarket. I was walking with my dad. Right, so that's what you were doing at 5. And let's look at another scenario. So yesterday, when you were going out, you saw a big cat sitting on the tree outside your house. So that's what happened yesterday. That's what you saw when you were going out. Wherever you're going to, maybe you're going to the mall, maybe going to school, maybe going to work, wherever you're going, maybe you're going to swim, wherever. Okay, so you tell your friend, you know, I was going out yesterday when I saw a big white cat sitting on the tree outside my house or in my garden, whatever. I was going out when I saw it. Really? So what was it doing there? You say, I don't know, it seemed lost. Your friend asked you, did you help it? No, I told Harry. He's my neighbor. I don't know anything about cats, but he does. Right, so that's how you speak. So when I was going out, you know, I was going out, or when I was going out, I saw a big white cat. So remember, continuous tense is you can only remember for a specific thing. Right, so you can't remember time each and every minute. So that's how you use it. Okay, so that's all for these notes. Watch the video again, write them down, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.